the higher up you go, the less they give you, but the lower you go, the more they give you. Solid Mind here, and today we are looking at the Oppo A76. So you can buy this phone in the UK for around 90 to 100 pound sterling, which is very much on the budget end when it comes to smartphones. Most mid-range smartphones are around £500 brand new, so it gets in a phone that's sometimes under £100 is ridiculous. For example, my current OnePlus 70 Pro, you can buy it for around £150, and that is like a very old phone. So to be able to buy this brand new for under 100, that says a lot. So let's find out, is this phone worth buying in 2025?
Experience, one thing you get is accessories, thankfully. Besides the phone, there's a phone case, which is different from the transparent ones we're used to, sort of higher quality.
One thing you get when you get a slightly budget phones is you get more in the box than you would get on a higher end phone for some crazy reason. So this having a case is good, because normally on the budget end, it's very difficult to find a wide range of aftermarket cases. So they give you a case to kind of help you on that journey,
Which I definitely like. We also get a USB-A to USB-C charging cable and a pretty chunky charging adapter. More on this a little later. So we get every possible accessory except wired earphones. And if you're wondering, no, they did not remove the headphone jack. It's still there. At the
wow, that's impressive. I'm only saying that because to find a headphone jack on a phone is very difficult.
bottom of the
But I guess the truth is, maybe it's because phones have not had them for a while, but I have never had to use or wanted to use a headphone jack on a phone in the last 2 years. Everything's wireless and Bluetooth. There's no need for it. So I see why, but it's always good to have it just in case.
phone. It's right next to the microphone, which is next to the Type-C port, which is then next to one of the two speakers on this phone. On the right side, you'd find the power button and volume rockers. You notice that we have the regular type power button, and that's because the fingerprint reader is underneath the display. What I really like is that when you pick this phone up, the area of the screen where the fingerprint sensor is located lights up.
So my OnePlus 70 Pro does that, which is good. To be fair, most phones nowadays do that. So I'll tell you one little tip. One way to know you're looking at a budget phone is to see the bezel around the phone, basically. So if the bezel is even around the phone, you know it's a cheap device. I'll tell you why. So see at the bottom here, right? To be able to move the bezel down, it takes a lot. So the computer that runs the phone is behind the screen, so it has to bend behind the screen and fold over to be in the front. So this is where the display folds underneath to go behind near the battery. So on cheaper devices, this little gap is covering all the components where the display is folding down. Now for you to remove or to reduce how much that folds over to make it narrower, you have to redesign it from the ground up, and by doing that, it really increases the cost of it. I just watched a video by what is that, Nothing Phone, where they were trying to, I guess, create MKBHD's ideal phone, and part of that was, R&D and research and stuff, and just being able to get to the stage where you can make the display have even bezels. It might cost you millions. So sometimes it's just simpler to just, to get the cost down at this price, just get something that's already on the shelf. And that is a generic basic display.
So it tells you exactly where to place your finger. That way you always get it right. And in terms of speed and accuracy, it's as fast as an optical sensor can be and works 99% of the time.
I know I keep pausing, but the reason is, right, so a lot of the phones that I have all have optical. ultrasonic is better. So that's like in the rain, and just normal day-to-day use. It's way better. Optical is it takes a picture of your thumb or your finger, and then it checks the database. So if your finger's a little dirty or the glass is a bit smudged, the picture quality won't be as good, so it can be a bit hit or miss. Whereas ultrasonic uses sound waves to create a 3D image like a bat in a way, and that's way more accurate.
Even when your hands are slightly moist. Thankfully too, this has support for expandable storage and even dual nano SIMs. The tray for that is on the left side of the phone. On the top you find nothing, and that's because the second speaker is on the front of the phone just above the screen, same spot as the earpiece. So we've got dual stereo speakers, and I can confirm that they're pretty loud.
See, I like that. I feel like in this day and age, dual speakers is a minimum on a display. So my device has it, and it makes a difference. It kind of helps create a 3D environment, especially for like TV shows where things are happening in different sides of the screen. So for me, this device is a basic device that has a lot of good features.
It even has an ultra volume mode, which sounds even louder. Oppo is apparently going for a minimalistic look with the A78, so if you're a fan of that, this would work for you. We've got two camera rings to the top left and a sort of strip underneath with text that says innovative AI camera. And then at the bottom right, we have the Oppo branding. It looks pretty simple, but that strip, or runway as Oppo calls it, adds a bit of flair to it. But
I guess so. It's a unique design. That's a plus.
if you want to tone that flair down a bit, you could use the case that it comes with. And now, it looks more minimalistic. When you turn the phone over, they went with a hole punch cutout for the selfie camera.
Oh, it looks like it comes with a pre-installed screen protector. That's also one thing that, cheaper phones, for some reason, like you get more. It's crazy how the higher up you go, the less they give you, but the lower you go, the more they give you. But so it comes with already a pre-installed screen protector, which is good.
And it's on the top left side of the screen. Bezels at the top and sides are fairly sized, but the chin. You see, I'm always going to talk about
It's got that Johnny Bravo chin, if you know what I mean.
this. Let's make it smaller. But yeah, it's probably not that big a deal.
But you don't understand, the cost is millions in R&D. It's not just get it smaller. It's very expensive to remove that, and that's one of the big elements between like a budget phone and a bigger phone, because they're able to sell such high volumes of the more higher end phones. They're able to justify the cost of spending millions just to lower the chin. So hey,
it's a good looking screen. It's 6.43 inches, it's 1080p, it's AMOLED, and it's a 90Hz screen. So again, it's a good looking display. It's sharp, colors are accurate, blacks are blacks, everything just looks as it should. It's also fluid when scrolling and navigating through the UI, and that's thanks to the higher refresh rate. On YouTube, you can watch videos up to 1080p, and as you can imagine, they look great. And if for some reason you're not satisfied with how the display looks, you can still tweak the display settings to.
this looks a lot like the same format that my OnePlus has. To be fair, Oppo and OnePlus are pretty much the same family group. That explains it. Let's end the video here. Should you buy the Oppo A78? Yes. If you are on a tight budget, very tight budget, and you want a new-ish phone, I couldn't find one reason why you shouldn't buy this. For me personally, I wouldn't buy it, because I would rather spend a little bit extra to buy a slightly older device. Because for me, one of the big pillars in why I would buy a device is the display. So for me, the display has to have a few elements. It has to be equal all the way around. I don't want bezels that are weird. it has to be at least a 2K display. It has to be big, maybe 6.9 inches. Yes, I know I hit in the 7-inch, which is a tablet size, but the bigger the better. Because for me, the display is massive. The camera is secondary. And I don't like hole punch displays. Like, I really don't like them. Like, my OnePlus, yes, has the mechanism where the camera comes up, which I've also seen it's now failing more. So when I take photos now, I can hear like grinding noises, and sometimes it doesn't come out. So that I get why hole punch displays are better long term wise. But the display for me is massive. And this display is 1080p, and it's not even all the way around, and it's not as big as I prefer. That's just me personally. But if you just want a bare bones minimalist phone that would do the job, this makes sense. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and peace.